In this advanced tutorial, I will show you not only how to animate bullet points in PowerPoint, but also 6 reasons to use bullet points in PowerPoint, how to use bullet points effectively, how to use bullet points and numbers, animating bullet points, other types of bullet points, and SmartArt instead of bullet points. For those of you who do not have the time to watch the full tutorial, I am now going to show you a quick way to animate bullet points. You are currently looking at a short list of bullet points. If I go into presentation mode, you'll see that the bullet points will show up all at once. I'll hit escape, go back to our editing view. Our objective is to have each of these bullet points come in one at a time. So the first thing we do is we get into this area where the text is, click once, and our text box will appear. Now, you don't want to click on any of the anchors on the ends or in the middle. You want to click right on the line. If you notice right now, I don't know how big your screen is, but the line is dotted. If you click right on the line, all of a sudden it becomes a solid line. Now it's active. Our next step is to go up to Animations, click on Animations, and now we're going to animate our bullet points. First thing we'll do is we'll go over to the right, and this shows you all the different types of animations we can perform on this text box. What we want to do is we want an entrance and we want it to fade in. So each bullet point will fade in on its own. We'll click on Fade. And now you see that there's a number of items that appear. Now on your screen when I did that, each of these items might appear randomly. So right now if I go into Presentation View, I can hit the first bullet point, it appears, second, third, fourth, and fifth. So they each appear in order. Hit Escape, go back to Editing View. If you want to play around with these different types of animations, you can go up here to the Animation pane and come over on the right hand side. You'll see the animations appear. I clicked on the down arrow and now we can see all the animations, and now we can go in and do whatever we want as far as editing those animations. Okay, we have 6 reasons to use bullet points. Bullet points serve as a critical visual purpose, breaking the monotony of large text into easily understood chunks while leaving ample white space on your slide. Don't think that bullet points must have an icon or Unicon character preceding the text. When we say bullet points, we really mean a list or series of key points. They can be accompanied with an icon or even a sequence as animations in PowerPoint. There is no need to limit your bullet points to just dashes and circles. Here are 6 reasons why we need bullet points and how we can use them to our advantage. Simple to understand. Bullet points can make text-heavy slide easy to read and understand. Give a quick overview. Bullet points on a slide can act as a reference for your audience about what you are going to talk about, giving a sneak peek into what is coming next. They can also act as a summary of whatever has already been discussed. Strength in numbers. Bullet point lists allow the audience to see the amount of supporting points you have for your message. Put things in order of importance. Bullet points can also help in ranking products or projects in your presentation, or put items in an order of importance. Animation options. Animate your bulleted list to maintain audience attention. Use fade-ins, motions, and darken used bullet points. Audience retention. When done well, bullet points make a quick understanding of the contents so that your audience can also focus on listening to you speak and retain more information. Now let's talk about how to use bullet points effectively. In this part of the tutorial, we're going to talk about how to keep bullet points short, using them as using periods, avoid using black dots, use animated bullet points, and do not use them on every slide. How many lines of bullet points should I use? Also, how many words per line? The general rule is 6 by 6. 6 words or less per line, and no more than 6 lines. The objective is to have your audience listen to your presentation, with the bullet points acting as guides to the main points. Can you use bullet points ending with a period? Use a period after every bullet point that is a sentence. Use no punctuation after bullet points that are not a sentence. Do not use periods on the same bullet points and no periods on other bullet points on the same slide. If you start using periods, then use them on all bullet points on the slide. Avoid using black dots. Black dots before a line can be a boring design. Try to color your dot using icons such as wingdings, arrows, and logos. Use animated bullets. Use animation to fade in and fade out of your bullet points. What animation you use is based on your presentation and how you want to move and control the attention of the audience. This is where animation and timing work together. Don't go overboard with extreme animations like twisting text. Animation, when not used properly, becomes very boring very fast. Do not use them on every slide. Remember the term death by bullet points. Audiences hate bullet points. The fastest way to lose your audience is to use too many bullet points. Keep in mind, there are other alternatives to using bullet points, such as SmartArt. Each slide should only have one purpose or objective. Okay, what you're looking at is a slide where we're going to be working with the bullets, and we're going to be adding them and doing some special things to add special features to the bullets. So on the left we have bullets like item 1, 2, 3, 4. And on the right we're going to be adding numbers to 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's start with the left. The first thing we want to do is we want to select the text box. Notice right now the text box does have the dotted side, so it's not actually selected for editing. We got to click one more time right on that line, and now it's ready. Next step is we're going to go up to the Home tab up at the top. We're going to move over to the right to the Paragraph tab, and we're going to select Bullets. And if you notice, the bullets didn't come out with a round bullet. They come out with a kind of customized wedge. And the reason for this is because this slide is actually a theme. You can get themes on PowerPoint, and we'll have another video on that. But because it's a theme, it picks what the color is going to be. Now say we want to go back and we want a different color and we want round bullets that are filled. We can go up once again in the Home tab and go over to the paragraphs, select the down arrow, and we'll go over to where we have bullets that are round and filled. We'll click on that, and now we have our bullets. Say you want the bullets to be a different color and larger. Go back up to the bullet tab or bullet button and go down to the very bottom where it says bullets and numbering. Select that. And here once again we can select the type of bullets we want, but more important, we can actually change the way the bullet looks. So we're going to stick with the filled bullet. We're going to go up to 200 on the size percentage, and we're going to change that bullet to a yellow. And we're going to click OK. And now you notice our bullets are yellow. Now let's go over to the numbers. On the number side, we can select the text box. Once again, make sure that the box is selected the second time and it has the straight lines or solid lines. And now we will go up to the top. Once again, the Home tab, over to the paragraphs, under numbers, click on that, and all of a sudden we have our numbers. Now what happens if we want the numbers to be a different color? We do the same thing as we did before. We come on up to the drop down arrow, down to bullets and numbering. We can select the color and go to yellow. And click OK, and now we're back in yellow. We can also change this list to be, rather than being numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, we can change it to A, B, C, D. And all we have to do is go back up to the list, and you'll see here's A, B, C, D. And we have all kinds of other options we can do, but we're going to go right over here to the ABCD, and that's what we're going to add at this point. Now, what about subtabs? Can we do subtabs? Most certainly. We can come down, and all you have to do is, and by the way, you don't have to select the text box. You can go in and just select the item you want as a subtab and hit the tab button on your keyboard. And on the next item, we can make it a sub to the first one, hitting it once, hitting it twice. Now notice, I don't know if you can tell very well, but if you notice, the dot gets smaller and the text gets smaller as you make it a sub item. So you can see it cascades down and it does get smaller. Now what happens if we want to go back the other way? That's no problem. We hit Shift Tab and that will bring it back. And go back to our next item, Shift Tab. And we can bring them all back where they were before. Oops. And now we're back to where we originally were. Let me show you one other thing you can do with bullets. So we're going to go over here to the bullets side. We're going to select the text box. We're going to go up to the top. And if you go down to the bottom where it says bullets numbering again and open it up, you'll see we have two other options we haven't covered, pictures and customize. Now, this is only on the bullet side. If we went over here to the numbers side and clicked on it and went up to the numbers and came down, you'll find out those options are not there. You don't have those two options. So what do those two options do? Come back over here to the bullets. Those two options allow you to add graphics basically to the number, they're the bullets. So rather than have a bullet or some other shape that they have listed here, you can come up and you can customize, and you can add any of these features you want. Let's go over here to wingding. So we'll type in wingdings. Oop. If I can type it right. And hit return. I don't know why it closes, but anyway, now we have wingdings. So we have all kinds of shapes under wingdings that we can put in as a bullet. So we're going to put in the finger shape right here. And I got the finger, and I'm going to click on that and click OK again. And now you can see we have the finger inside. Now, the other option that was up here, if we go back down to bullets and numbering, was adding a picture. And that's basically adding any picture or graphic that you have. So if you have a company logo and you're given a presentation, you want that logo to show up on each item. And I recommend not overusing that idea. But anyway, if you wanted the company logo, you can select it from a file and you can put it in. Now we'll cover how to animate bullet points. Okay, we're going to talk about animation. And so we have this slide that we're going to work with, and the slide has an image with kind of some animation going on. And our title of the slide is animation, and the first thing we're going to talk about is motion. That's our first bullet point. What we want to do with this word motion is we actually want to put it in motion. So what we're going to do is we're going to select it first. Then we're going to come up here to animation, the animation tab. Click on that. We want to fade in first. We're going to come in with a fade in. We could go in here on the duration and on click and so forth and change things here, but the better way to do it is to go over to the animation pane right here. Click on that, and now our animation pane shows up. And when we click on the effect that we put in place, the fade, if we click on that, we have more options. So the first thing we want to do is look at our timing. We want to, on a click, this to come in, but what happens is it comes in too quick. In fact, to give you an example, if we go over here to preview, you can see that fade is really quick. If we go into presentation view and hit return, you see the fade is immediate. So we want to delay that a little bit. We'll go back over here on the right, click on our effect, and we're going to change the timing to the duration. We have on click, by the way, we have the delay. We don't want to delay. The duration we want it to be kind of medium. We're going to click that and we're going to check that out. We'll go over here to preview. Yeah, that's a little bit better. If we go in the presentation view by hitting F5 and right mouse click, we have a decent fade in. We'll go back out. Now, that really doesn't show any animation. So we have a fade in as our first effect. The next thing we need to do is we got to show some animation. So if we go up here and we look at these, it seems like the best one to show animation is the fly in. So we're going to click on fly in. But if you notice, something happened. Over here on the right, our previous animation, the fade, is now gone. We only have one, and that's the one on flying in. So what happened? Well, we'll go back and do the step over real quick again. So I'm going to do this really quick. So we're going to go over here to the motion. We're going to delete it. We're going to go over, we're going to select our bullet point. We're going to go up to fade. There's our fade. We're going to go over to the menu on the right and open our things. And the thing we did is under timing is that we changed our timing to be medium. Remember, that gives that gentle fade in. Now, before we add a next effect, what we want to do is go over here to the right and it says add animation. You want to click on that. And now our animations appear on this window. And this is where we want to add our second or third or fourth animation. And so we wanted the fly in. I'm going to go back up here. And now, if you notice, we actually have two actions taking place. We have the fade in, and then we have the fly in. If we go over here on the left, we'll go to the preview. We have our fade in, and then we have our fly in. Now, we don't want that. We want to change, we want it to happen at the same time. So we're going to come over here to the motion of the fly in. And when we put timing over here, we're going to say with previous. And now if we look at this, it all happens at once. It fades in and flies in. But boy, it flies in fast. And it flies in from the wrong direction. We want it to fly in from over here. So we're going to double click on it again. We're going to go over to the timing. We're going to want it to come in kind of a medium speed. We're also going to come in from the right. So we click on effect. From instead of bottom, we want to say from the right. And now we can see it gently coming in from the right. That looks pretty cool, but let's make it a little more unique. Catch the audience's attention. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to double click on that again. We're going to come back. And what we're going to do is go down to the bottom. And it says animate text. And it says all at once. And so all the text at once is coming in. And what we want is just each letter to come in. So we're going to add here, we're going to add letter by letter. Click OK. Ooh, is that cool? But that still doesn't give us as much action as we can actually get out of this. We can actually get more action out of this. And here's what we're going to do is we're going to go back over to the effect, second effect that we brought in, the fly in. And we're going to come down here where it says smooth start, smooth in, bounce. We're going to add a bounce. Bounce is something that makes the text come in and all of a sudden it'll bounce. And we're going to go over to about a 10. About there is good enough. We can go up a little bit higher, I guess. Right at 10. So we're at 1 second. So we got a 1 second bounce. Let's see what that looks like. Boing, 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 boing. Hey, that looks cool. So here's our preview. Isn't that neat? And if we go down into presentation view, it even looks nicer. Well, wait a second. If we go back, we do our first click. There's a word that shows up. Initially, our word shows up and then bounces in. So we have to correct that. Okay, let's see what's actually wrong with our setup here. We're going to go up to the first one. This is the fade in. We're going to look at it. And it says by letter, But if you notice, we do not have any delay. Right down here where it says delay between letters. Notice on the other one, we set it to where it was like a medium delay, so about 10%. So we should set this at about 10% so it matches the fly-in. So let's see what we got here, see if we have to do any more work. Oh, looks pretty good, except we still got our word there. Let's take a look and see what else we have wrong. So there's got to be an issue with our second one. Let's go down to the second one. Actually, let's change this on click on this one to with previous. It works. So in case you want to copy this, let me go back to the settings and so you can have the exact settings I have. So the first one we had was the fade in. And so on the effects we have, of course, no sound, no dimming, and the animate text is by letter, and the speed is 10% delay between letters, and that matches our other movement where we fly in. And then we go to the timing and we want on click. We want a duration of 2 seconds, medium. And then over on the fly-in, we go from the effect, we go down, the only thing we changed is from the right. We want it to come in from the right, from this side. And we had it bounce. We set the bounce at, actually, 1 second. Okay, so we're at 1 second. And we come down and the enhancement is we animate text by letter. Timing, we do it with the previous. There's no delay. Durations, 2 seconds, matching the same one we did before, the fade in, which is 2 seconds. And then text animation, there was nothing that we did there. And you see how that bounces pretty hard there for 1 second. So let's see what it looks like in presentation view again. Presentation view, hit return, boom, 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 boom. That's quite a bit of motion for that one word. So there's an example of animating text. So we've animated this, it would catch the audience attention quite a bit because of the motion it's making. Now let's go on to our last section, which is SmartArt. Microsoft says a SmartArt graphic is a visual presentation of your information and ideas. Let's now take a look at how to use SmartArt and how to animate SmartArt. You're looking at a deck of 3 slides. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you that there's actually 3 ways of bringing SmartArt in and using it on a slide. The first one is if you take a blank slide like this one, you'll notice that we have the Excel spreadsheet you can automatically add or insert a chart. And then we have SmartArt, insert a SmartArt graphic. We click on that, and now we can enter any type of SmartArt in here. You can see it on the right-hand side right here, the different SmartArt that we can add. And we can scroll down. And here's the one that we're going to be using. This one is the same as what's over here on our last slide. This slide right here. So the first way is to bring it in from a blank slide. The second way to bring in SmartArt is to go up to Home and to go over, to your slide that has text. Click on the text box. Make sure the box is selected, solid line all the way around, remember. And then we go up here under Home, over to the right under Paragraph, and we have Convert to SmartArt. And we click on that, and we can go down and select the one that we want, which is right here. We click on that, and it opens up, and now we've converted everything to SmartArt. Notice how it took our text and put our text in each of the bars for us. We didn't have to do anything. So if I back up, do Control Z, our text is cloud, local, and hybrid. Go up to Home, come over to SmartArt, go down to More, go down a little bit. Here's our SmartArt we want. There's cloud, local, hybrid again. Now, what is the second way to bring in SmartArt? Well, the second way to bring in SmartArt is to actually go up to Insert, and we can click on our tab down here, but it won't matter in this situation, but I'm just saying we can click on it. So I want you to know that it's still selected. We go over to Insert, we go over to SmartArt under Illustration, click on it, come down and get the one we had before right here. Click on it, OK, and it brings in the SmartArt. But guess what? The SmartArt's brought in, but our text was not placed in the SmartArt. Our text is still over here. So what the difference is, we have blank slide that you can pick up the SmartArt and I'll add it in. But when we get to slides where we've already put in text, and in other words, you did all your slides, you got all your bullet points are put in, and then you go to SmartArt, the only way to have that automatically converted from text to SmartArt is to go to the Home tab and select SmartArt and bring it in. That's the only way you're going to be able to bring it in, is to select the Home tab, bring in the SmartArt that you wanted, and go down here to the one we want and bring it in, and there's our SmartArt. The other way just brings in the SmartArt itself and does not put the text in it. So you want to keep that in mind. Okay, let's say in our presentation we've changed everything. We brought in our SmartArt and we changed to themes, so we have a nice theme here. Whenever you use SmartArt, the color of the SmartArt will go with the theme if you're in a theme. If not, then you can select whatever color you want. You can still change these colors to something else by going up to the SmartArt, and you can change colors right here. Okay, this tutorial is about animating SmartArt. So how do we animate SmartArt? Can we just click on it, come up to Animation, say Fly In, but it all flies in? So obviously that's not right. So how do we change it? There's other things you can play around with, like ungrouping and so forth. It's not going to make any difference. That SmartArt is stuck, and it'll only bring in one animation at a time. So if you did wipe, it'll bring in wipe, but on all of them. So how do you do it to where you can bring in the cloud separate, the local separate, and the hybrid separate, for example? What you can do is you can select on your SmartArt, click on it, click on it, come up to SmartArt Design, move all the way over to the right to where it says Convert. Hit the Convert, and you can convert it to text or you can convert it to a shape. We want to convert to shape. We hit the Shape button. Now it's actually converted to a shape. We have one more step we have to do because it's still, if you look at this bar here, it's all grouped as one group. So we want to click on that bar and come up here to Group and Ungroup. Now, by the way, what I did on that, in case I moved pretty quick, is I clicked on here, right-clicked, and went down to Group, Ungroup, and now what do we have? We have it all ungrouped, all the items in the SmartArt. So for example, does it work? Well, let's see. We can click on the cloud, and we can click on the circle next to the cloud with a shift. We can come up here to Animation. We can say Fly In. Hey, it works. Come over here to the next one, shift, and say we want to wipe. There's our wipe. We can come on the last one. We can select the circle again with a shift, and we can come in with a swivel. There's a swivel. So then we can go back out to our presentation view, And we can go down from the first slide, second slide. Here's our slide with the items we changed. Fly in, swipe, and the swirl. So that's how you animate in SmartArt. Now, before we close, let me add some things. There are some people that say, why use SmartArt? Why not do it yourself? Well, the advantage of using SmartArt is simply the fact that it's faster. If you're putting a presentation together and you don't have much time and you want to put it together quick, you can quickly add the theme, you can quickly add your SmartArt, and it looks good. Now, some people say, well, it doesn't look professional. Well, about anything you can do with SmartArt, and not using SmartArt, but actually using your own graphics, you can still pretty much do with SmartArt. You just need to know how to move around in it. But true, you can create all these things in your own graphics. Appreciate you watching this tutorial. Give us a thumbs up and have a great day.